Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. This video is going to be a little longer. I do apologize for that, but the information within is very yummy. I just found out about this and it caused me to buy more shares yesterday. I'm going to buy more shares tomorrow when I get paid. It's that amazing. And I will keep buying because the news that just came out gave me confidence and showed me the blueprint of where this company is going. So NIO touches on a wide range of topics in the year-end media meet just happened yesterday. The first model from the NIO Battery Swap Alliance is doing winter testing. You heard that right. The first model from the NIO Battery Swap Alliance, remember several EV companies like Chery, Chang'an, Geely, Hongqi, etc., has teamed up with us so that they can do battery swapping and use our battery swap stations, and they will pay us for this. Is doing winter testing and the Firefly sub-brand will start selling in Europe next year, tariffs or not. But I believe the tariffs will come down by that time, a lot, dramatically. NIO held a year-end 2024 media event today in Shanghai, the city where it's headquartered. And the company's founder, chairman, and CEO William Li answered more than 200 questions during the 3-hour-long communication. So some people are saying that Firefly will have its own battery swap stations, a lot of cash burn, blah, 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 blah. They keep forgetting that the swap stations for Firefly, even if we're going to have to build out swap stations for that, it's going to cost it's not going to cost us a lot because it's going to be a very small swap station. But again, people keep looking at the short term and not the long term. Firefly is just the first brand from a lot of small EVs in that segment that's going to be coming out. Wrap your heads around that. The amount of small EVs we're going to be flooding the market with in the future will blow people's minds. Superior small EVs. As a background, the electric vehicle maker has in the past held a large-scale media event at the end of the year, just days before NIO Day. So we've always done this to respond to commonly asked questions. So they're ahead of me. I was thinking about Christmas Day, and I'm still going to do that. This year's event was held at a hotel in Shanghai, and CNEV Post was there on site. The upcoming NIO Day 2024 will be held on December 21st in Guangzhou, where the company will officially launch the ET9 and the Firefly brand. Yes, the small boutique superior EV, along with the EV, the ET9, that will make Rolls-Royce look like a joke. In today's communication, Lee answered a total of more than 200 questions the company collected in advance from participating reporters covering a wide range of topics, and here are the key takeaways. Lee reiterated NIO's sales target for 2025 is to double from 2024, or around 440,000 units. Is that possible, guys? Yes, it is. It's very possible. Firefly will be an inexpensive, superior small EV. Onvo will be ramping up in a massive way. Excuse me, guys. I hope that they can, and I do believe they're going to correct the problem with the batteries, even if we have to go to a different battery maker. Lee reiterated NIO's sales target for 2025 is to double. The company's management first mentioned the 2025 sales doubling target in its third quarter 2024 earnings call, that stellar earnings call that we had on November 20th, where we showed that our margins came down, but didn't provide more details at the time, or margins improved, sorry. NIO at the time guided for fourth quarter deliveries. In the media meet today, Lee said the company expects sales of NIO main brand to grow moderately in 2025 compared to 2024 without mentioning further details. In the January-November period this year, the NIO brand delivered 180,599 vehicles. Now remember, we're doubling that next year. in terms of all our cars, period, up 27.16%, or I should say, with our sub brands, it'll cause us to double our sales next year. So it says up 27.16% year on year according to the data compiled. The Onvo sub-brand is expected to achieve an average of 20,000 units per month in 2025. That's by March, above 20,000 units for the year, Lee said. For the upcoming Firefly brand, NIO expects sales in the thousands of units per month. Responding to questions from CNEV Post, Lee said the company is confident of meeting its fourth quarter deliveries guidance with more than 30,000 units delivered in December. NIO needs to deliver at least 30,449 vehicles in December to meet its fourth quarter delivery guidance according to CNEV Post calculations. For December 1st to 11, NIO Incorporated received the highest number, listen to this guys, for December 1st to 11th, this month, NIO received the highest number of locked-in orders for the same period in the past 6 months. The F3 plant. In response to a question from CNEV Post, Lee said the F3 plant should be operational in the third or fourth quarter of 2025 and is located near the NEO Park, NEO Park F2 plant in Haifa, Anhui province. Lee didn't mention any further details today. NIO currently has 2 factories in Haifa, the F1 and the F2. NIO co-founder and President Keen Lee Hong said on June 5th that the company had begun construction on a third factory. The new plant would have a single shift capacity of 100,000 units per year and would be used for both NIO branded and Onvo brand products, Keen said at the time. Now remember, we're also building the factory in Africa, in Egypt. Lee today reiterated that Onvo sub-brand will deliver over 10,000 L60 vehicles in December and see monthly deliveries reach 20,000 in March next year. The Onvo L60 was low, and this is why, guys, I don't look at the weekly registrations, because I look to the future. I look to where we're going and what's going to happen. Most of the people who panic due to weekly registrations are people who are just looking for quick money, or people who are trying to spread fear like the shorts. This is where critical thinking and common sense come into play. If you want to make big money, you have to look to the future of where the company is going and what are they doing. Are they innovating, etc., etc.? And are they growing? So just finding out and knowing that Firefly is going to be in Europe next year, even with the tariffs, gives me hope and understanding and knowledge, not hope, knowledge, that this company is going to continue to grow and actually double our sales like Emperor Lee is saying. The Onvo L60 was launched on September 19th. Lee said due to the long waiting time for the L60, some customers have opted for NIO models in Onvo stores. Last month, Onvo sales team helped sell 200 to 300 cars for the NIO brand, according to Lee. Lee said the Onvo brand has not cannibalized NIO, saying that only 2% of the sub-brand's customers were originally considering buying a NIO model. And that's true because the sub-brand is still not on the level of a NIO brand. And the person trying to buy a NIO brand are people on a different income bracket. The Onvo brand will launch 2 additional models in 2025 with delivery starting in the third or fourth quarter, Lee said. On the November 20 earnings call, NIO management said Onvo would launch 2 SUVs next year. People keep forgetting that. We will launch 2 SUVs next year, a 6 or 7 seater, a big one for the sub brand, which means it'll be cheaper than a NIO, less expensive, and a large 5-seater. Onvo's product lineup won't be as large as the NIO brand, because remember, Onvo is just a sub-brand, but combined with the Firefly and Onvo, I believe it'll be bigger, more EVs than the NIO brand, because Firefly is just the first of many small boutique coming out. With a maximum of 4 or 5 models, the Onvo brand, according to Lee, there are currently 8 models being delivered under the main NIO brand. Lee iterated the number of battery swap stations available for Onvo will reach 1,000 by the end of this year. And by the way, guys, we added 10 battery swap stations yesterday. I want to thank Money Making Melvin for that. He always stay abreast of what's going on with that. We added 10 yesterday, battery swap stations. He says 1,000 by the end of this year and 2,000 by next April. 2,000 by next April. That's how much we're ramping up. The company is positioning the Firefly brand as a premium boutique small car similar to the BMW Mini and Mercedes-Benz smart car. Yes, that's why they call it a boutique. It is compared to a BMW Mini and Mercedes-Benz smart car. And of course, it'll be way better than that. I'm sure of that. Just like our Neo brands have blown Mercedes, Audi, BMW, dog poop, cat poop, rat poop, and bat poop Tesla out the water. Yesterday, Cathie Wood sold another 50,000 plus shares of Tesla. But why is that? While the uneducated investor is thinking, oh my God, the analyst is saying it's worth 400, we should buy, she understands what's happening. Lee said there is consumer demand for such small cars, but they don't have good choices in terms of supply. The Chinese market. So a lot of the Chinese market wants these small cars. Of course, it'll be less expensive, but there's not enough choices to choose from, he said. In the Chinese market, the Firefly brand will have only one model and will continue to iterate on that. The Firefly model will be priced similarly, that's in China, one brand. The Firefly model will be priced similarly to the Minis in China. In overseas markets, the Firefly brand may follow a different strategy than in China. And Neo had not yet decided whether to launch multiple models for Fireflies in China, but in the overseas market, Lee said. Firefly is important in Neo's incorporated strategy of entering global markets, just like the Envo. Because remember, they said Firefly on Envo will be global, a global product. And imagine what will happen, guys, when we flood Australia, England, and all these other countries with the Firefly and the Envo. Where there is a big demand for small cars in the overseas market, Lee said, the company will begin selling Firefly models in Europe in 2025 in a move largely synchronized with its moves in the domestic market. So it will be synchronized at the same time with the domestic market. The first Firefly model will initially be built for the European market, but has since shifted to be launched in China as well, considering that there is demand for such models in the country as well. So they found out that there's a huge demand in China as well for these small cars. So why not sell them in China at the same time they're selling them in Europe? Woo-hoo! Neo still wants to enter 25 countries and regions cumulatively by 2025 and will focus on sales of Envo and Firefly models in overseas market as they are less expensive than the Neo brand. Battery Swap Alliance. Neo has announced a number of partners joining its Battery Swap Alliance over the past year, saying it will work with them to build battery swap enabled models, but didn't provide any further details. Emperor William Lee said today that those efforts are moving forward and that the cycle, and that will focus on the sales of Envo and Firefly models in overseas market. They are less expensive. So it also says, Lee said today that the efforts are moving forward and that the cycle time to build a new battery swaps enabled model is about 18 months. 18 months. The first model from the new Battery Swap Alliance is undergoing winter testing, Lee said. It's undergoing testing, the first Battery Swap Alliance. Winter testing. Remember, we put our EVs, even though this is an alliance, through rigorous testing to make sure there's minimum amount of recalls. Unlike, for example, the stainless steel cockroach, the cyber crap, cyber poop, cyber shit, had 7 recalls already. This is why, as the uneducated investor say, woohoo, it's 400, I'll keep buying shares of Tesla. The educated investor, like Cathie Wood, is selling. By 2027 and 2028, there will be more new models built using Neo battery swap technology. By 2027 and 2028, there will be more new models built using Neo battery swap technology, he said. So I'm thinking he means alliances. Neo plans to launch hybrids and no plans to launch hybrids in China. But he said, in terms of the overseas market, they're not ruling that out. So that's a hint of what's coming for Africa, North Africa, and probably the Caribbean, Latin America, etc., etc. So Lee said today the Firefly will only offer battery electric models in China, while plans for overseas are still being studied and charging. Infrastructure is the is most other markets is 5 to 10 years behind China. Even here in America, we're about 10 years behind China in everything. Explanation for Neo brand sales decrease with Onvo L60 deliveries increasing. This is the explanation. Deliveries of Neo main brand models have seen sequential declines in the past 2 months, and I spoke about that because I think a lot of Neo customers, just like last year, are waiting for the new platform to come out. Lee today denied that it was due to the Onvo brand cannibalizing Neo's orders, and also said that the Onvo was not taking capacity away from Neo branded models. In October and November, deliveries of the Neo brand were down due to reducing promotions of 10,000 RMB, Lee said. In the third quarter, Neo sacrificed some gross margins for higher volumes. So we're not sacrificing margins right now again, just like in terms of with Tesla, they're selling to where they're making a bare minimum because they keep slashing their prices. Lee said today, with new penetration, that he now expects China's new energy vehicle penetration to reach 90%, catching up to Norway by 2027 at the latest, 3 years earlier than his previous expectation of 2030. Now remember, even though China has not reached 90% penetration, and he's saying he expected by 2027 in terms of all electric vehicles, China is selling more electric vehicles per month than America is doing in a whole year. As possible milestones for China's NEV market in 2025 would be for NEV penetration to reach 75%, he said. As possible milestone for China new energy vehicle market in 2025 would be for NEV penetration to reach 75%, he said. And a lot of the reason why in America the new energy vehicle penetration is not accelerating at the pace it is doing in Norway, as it's doing in Australia, as it's doing in China, and other markets, is because that's where the Chinese models are. Inexpensive, superior technology. In America, we don't have that. We don't have that choice. Democracy has failed us to that extent. We cannot choose now. So because we don't have that choice, a lot of Americans are saying, I will not buy dog poop, cat poop, rat poop, and smelly bat poop guano Tesla. It's disgusting. We don't want it. So most people are waiting until we can have a superior EV like the Chinese EVs at an affordable price. In November, Chinese NEV penetration at retail stood at 52.3%, the fourth consecutive month above the 50% mark according to the China Passenger Car Association. And Money-Making Melvin, by the way, guys, is a mechanic in Florida, and he himself said he will never buy an electric vehicle, even though he works on them, until an Onvo or Firefly or something like that come to America. The guy I'm planning to do the Christmas Day video with, Money-Making Malika in Australia, his father is an electrical engineer, and he is amazed and blown away by Neo. But he said one of the things that blow his dad away the most, he said, is Neo's ability to sell energy back to the grid and balance the grid automatically. He said that is, people don't even realize how amazing that is. In China, NEVs include BEVs, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, PHEVs, and fuel cell vehicles. Currently, Neo produces BEVs. So I hope this video meets you guys well on a Thursday morning, gives you all the confidence that Money Making Mitch has. If this video, you guys found this video to be informational, inspirational, and motivational yet again, do not forget to hit that thumbs up, guys, because it takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we're waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up, and as to how the game in Wall Street is played. Because right now, Wall Street is telling you Tesla should be 400, and they have you buy in. And then when they pull the rug out because Tesla keep losing sales year over year, whilst Neo keep growing sales year over year, that's how you understand how to invest. When they pull the rug out, a lot of people lose a lot of money. Not the big investors, the uneducated investors. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class to get a major piece of the pie. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.